Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us in this Open Security Summit training session. So we are joined by Abbas Haidar, and we'll have a session on 0365 Security, Anti-Phishing, Best Practices, and Demo. So let me share you some rules in this session. All right, so we expect everyone to participate in this session. We love if you're going to ask some questions, or you can send them on the chat if you're shy enough. And then we want you to care deeply about this because we really care deeply about this session. And we want you to learn more. And so we also want you to have mutual respect with each other. And so also, you can challenge directly. You can ask questions. You can unmute your microphone. You can nudge the organizer if you want some clarification or you need something. And we want you to be solution focused then. All right. So the session will be recorded. Well, right now it's not live streamed in YouTube, but then later it will be shared in social media, like in our YouTube channel, our Twitter account, and our LinkedIn account. And so if you don't want to be identified, please take personal precautions, such as not activating your video, using NA as your name during the session. Everything created at the summit is released under a CCR open source license. So we are all here to collaborate on topics we have chosen as a community. And no one should be discriminated or harassed based on their race, gender, age, religion, appearance, being inexperienced, or anything else. So we are expected to preserve a certain level of professionalism and respect each other. And so if you feel any kind of abusive behavior against yourself or anyone else during the summit, please report to one of the organizers, or you can report it to me as soon as you can, so that it can be handled and prevented from future occurrence. Our hashtag for today is hashtag OSS 2020. And if you're not into our Slack channel yet, I'm going to share with you. I'm going to share it in the chat window, the Slack invite, so that you can click on it and invite yourselves to our Slack channel. All right, so let's welcome the organizer of this session, Abbas Haidar.
Hello, everyone. Let me just share my screen. So give me a second. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to my Office 365 Anti-Phishing best practices. And this is just a an overview over how to do how to get to have the best practices set up for Office 365 to avoid like phishing and the spam and impersonation emails. Basically, in the end of this session, we're gonna do just a quick lab to show you how did I configured Office 365 to detect impersonation emails. Impersonation mean like someone else pretending to be someone at your organization, asking you for information, which they're gonna use to steal your money or credit card details or anything else. Basically, if you feel like you want to interrupt me for a question, please just interrupt and ask. I will try to go through the best practices quick, and I'm not going to dig into details on how to do on how to configure the things, but I'm just going to go and just explain how they work, and then because I've implemented all of this, I will show you how it works. So basically about me, this is myself. My name is Abbas Haidar. have an MSc in Internet Management Engineering. I did Computer Communications Engineering, and I am head of IT and InfoSec at Glassful Solutions. My hobbies are swimming, table tennis, and football, and talking too much, to be honest. So I work for a company called Glassful, as I said. Glassful, we are a fire generation and analytics company. Basically, and a leader in the field of content disarm and reconstruction. How do I remove this? Okay. So basically, what we do basically, the main thing we do is if we have a file infected, let's say with a malware or whatever, it has a mal content in the we have malcontent in the file, like macros or whatever. So what our engine does, it's just gonna go and take the good bit, put it in a new file, and it generate it, and it's gonna just drop everything which is bad. And we have too many products based around this. One of them is, let's say, our FireTrust product, which is a email gateway solution. Basically, you forward your emails to our to our platform, and if you have any email attachments, our engine is going to go and scan through them, and it's going to take the right action. Basically, it's going to go and rebuild the file, rebuild the files for you if they weren't right. I'm not going to go into into details on our products, but the only reason I went through the FireTrust product because I wanted to later on, there is one option that I didn't configure on Office 365, and the reason is because I'm using this product. Basically, Office 365 Anti-Phishing and Impersonation practices. So with the growing presence and sophistication of online threats like viruses, ransomware, we really and a lot of hackers are getting better and better now, trying to get your information through through email. We really need to have something protecting us. The Microsoft Office 365 Compliance Center, it has too many things too many options there to which will help your the organization to implement security and information governance stuff, and as well like threat management and other things. So it has too many things that you can go there and have a look on. Basically, my focus will be on threat management, and exactly in particular on setting up a couple of policies to allow setting up a couple of policies to help your Exchange Office 365 environment to be more safe. Yeah, so as I said before, this is a utility which helps security analysts, administrators protect the organization and business users. Basically, here it's just a snapshot of the security dashboard where you can see, let's say, your top malware, your credit score, if you have any phishing messages and stuff like that. And here is just a snapshot of the policies under threat management. So these are the policies that I'm gonna walk you all through, and I'm gonna talk about. So basically, all of these make it easier on you to identify and monitor, basically understand cyber attacks, and basically it will help you to quickly address threats in Exchange Online, SharePoint, OneDrive. It also provides you with insight and knowledge to help security operations to prevent cyber attacks against your organization. One of the cool things is employing automated investigation and response, like security playbooks, which are really good. Basically, you can go and set them. They are already set up in a way you can twist them, sometimes tweak them, and configure them, like to send you notification if something happens. Well, all of this depends on what your organization subscription includes. Security dashboard includes several widgets like threat management, which I'm showing here, threat protection, sorry, and like a global weekly threat detection, malware, and more stuff. Basically, it's a very cool tool. It's a very good thing. I think if businesses go and implement, who use Office 365, go and implement all of this. I think that will cut off security attacks through Microsoft technologies a lot, and it will help. And I'll show this. I'll show this later on. Basically, I'm just going to go through the threat management policies and explain what they are. Basically, we have the anti-threat protection anti-phishing, which protects user from phishing attacks and configure safety tips on suspicious messages. We will go through all this in details later on. We have the safe attachment. This is a bit of which I'm not going to configure. A reason is all our emails are, attachment are scanned using our product, which is very safe. We never have an incident of our product, so it goes and detect all file attachments and basically do the work on them, sanitize, or just take the right action on them, and then release the file to us. ATP safe links, and this protects users from opening and sharing malicious links in emails, and I think this is clear. I don't need to explain it much. Anti-spam, it's protect your organization email from spam. Enhanced filtering, this is for people who are using hybrid exchange solution. DKIM policies, and I will go through this and explain it. User submission, this is when I have a spam or phishing email, I've received it and I want to report it. So how do I enable my end users to do this? And definitely anti-malware. What do you do when you have anti-malware? This is it's a default policy. You can modify it or you can add a new one. But basically on this one, on the default one, it just allow you to just set up notifications and stuff like that. So what happens in case you have a malware? Now, anti-phishing. So I'm going to go through the anti-phishing policy. So this is anti-phishing. First of all, I just want to introduce phishing. Most of you, I think, I don't know, maybe you don't know what phishing is. Phishing is an attempt to obtain sensitive information such as usernames, passwords, credit card details, but by disguising oneself as a trustworthy entity in electronic communication. Basically, someone sent you an email to take your information. He put some links there, tricked you to another thing. Let's say your Office 365 password is gonna expire. Please click on this link. They make it look like it, and you click on it, and basically the victim, is gonna go and type in, put his personal information there, or authentication information there, which can allow the hacker or to go and use it. Basically, sorry. Yeah. So here I am showing an example of an anti-phishing policy which I've set up on Office 365. Basically, this will allow us to detect and prevent impersonation and spoofing attacks. By default, it applies to all users, but myself, I apply a general policy to all users, but I have specific users like people who are like executive, let's say in the company, financial people in the company. These are like always like, that we're gonna be always attacked, CEOs, and I'm pretty sure like most of you have heard about a phishing attack which was successful, and believe me, it tricks a lot of people, even technical people. The worst thing is when you, from my experience, is when you have it and receive it on your phone, because when I have it on, let's say I receive an email on my Outlook, I can hover, like it's much easier to hover over like the email, the sender, to get the email address, the sender email address. But when you are talking about when it is on the phone, sometimes it's really tricky. So basically, I'm just gonna talk quickly about this anti-phishing policy. So it protects all the domains I own on Office 365. If there is a user impersonation, it moves the message recipient to junk email folders, unless there is another policy stopping it from doing so. It will check if there is someone trying to impersonate the domain. This is different like than setting up like DKIM and DMARC, which I'm gonna go through later on. I'm just gonna explain to you what they do. They do similar things, and it's gonna enable safety tips on, let's say, if you are trying to impersonate someone, is gonna say, hello, I think you are someone is trying to impersonate this guy, just double check if it is him or not. So, and it's gonna do just check if there are any unusual characters, mailbox intelligence. Yeah, and just gonna create, and we're gonna put the anti-spoofing protection on. I put the anti-spoofing protection on this one. Basically, so this is the anti-phishing policy example. So this is it was always recommended to enable it, but I always recommend to have a specific one as well to specific users, especially user under risk. Next one to configure is the anti-spam policy. Spam aims to hold goods and services by sending unsolicited emails. By default, as we all know, Office 365 includes built-in features to help protect users from spam, but you still get them. I'm not talking about newsletters, because newsletters, I don't want to call them spam, but they are good things. So you get information like about something happening, you subscribe to them, but the spam is different. It is it is different, and we really need to know the difference between spam and phishing. They might be both like, try like maybe inbox clogging nuisance, but phishing is actively aiming to steal login credentials and other sensitive data, like when they target your CEO or your CFO. But spam is a is a tactic of sales, let's say. I don't want to say sales because I might be blaming some people, but spam is a tactic for hawking goods and services by sending unsolicited emails to bulk lists. So sometimes they buy the bulk lists. Yes, so that's what the anti-spam policy. Because we are on this photo, on this photo here, I'm gonna say this is our default anti-spam policy. If you see here, there is something called connection filter policy. This is where you go and you say, allow people from these IP addresses to send emails on my behalf. Basically, there are a couple of configurations here, but it will, let's say you have a printer, it does not use a username and password to authenticate, but you need to allow everyone to use it, and you need to allow the printer and the scanner to send an email. Basically, you can whitelist your stuff here. Outbound spam filter, I think it is very important. A lot of people don't do this, but enable your outbound spam filter policy. It's very important, so you're not spamming other people and your domain won't get blacklisted. Because sometimes you might have a malware, you might have anything, and it's going to start sending email, or someone like misusing your email service. It's always good to have your outbound spam filter policy on. Next one is there are a couple of records and policies that we can configure to make Office 365 better, and especially here I'm talking here about inbound and outbound traffic. Basically, when you are sending emails to people, you need to make sure that when people receive the email, they know it is definitely you and it's not someone else spoofing your domain, and which is very, very important. So basically, there are three things you set up here, which are the SPF, the DKIM, and DMARC. So I'm going to start with the SPF. It's a DNS record, which allows the domain owner to specify like IP addresses and servers that may send emails from their domain. So basically, I'm going to say IP address 10.10.10. whatever. So this is a private IP address, but I'm just going to use any public IP address. You're going to say, set it up in your SPF record and say, this is my domain email address, or this is the domain, this is the URL where my emails will come from. It is with that, it's also a pinky promise to email providers that the domain owner will never try to send an email from any other IP addresses or server unless you're whitelisted in the connection filtering previously. But again, I just want to say that SPF, it is one of many email authentication protocols, but it has its own drawbacks as well. Like, SPF sometimes breaks when an email is forwarded. So if your brand is one that relies heavily on email, word of mouth, getting your audience to forward your message to friends, there's a decent chance that the SPF will fail. The validation will fail there. And it's never reaching anyone beyond your original list. Just because your message passes or fail SPF, I just want to say this, and I'm starting with SPF and going to go DKIM and to get to the DMARC. It's not a it's not a guarantee that whether it's going to land in the inbox as well of the receiver. This is merely one authentication protocol of several that mailbox provider used to keep their inboxes safe, but it's not a complete solution. That's why we have something else called DKIM. And DKIM is an email authentication protocol that essentially allows a sender to apply a digital signature to outgoing emails. And so they can be verified by recipient mailboxes, so they can verify by the recipient mailbox provider through domain name system, so DNS. Sign-in offers a guarantee of authenticity and some protection from tampering. So I can go into details on how DKIM works, but I'm just gonna explain it quickly. So it begins when you send a button, when you send an email, you press the send button. So the sender email, the sender's mail transfer agent, the MTA, it creates a DKIM signature based on the email content. It inserts the signature and send the email. So once it's received at the other end, the other mailbox provider, that MTA, it uses DNS to verify the signature against the sender public key. So if the email has not been tampered, so the email is still fine, intact, it should pass verifications with flying colors. Basically, DKIM, it vouches for an email authenticity. So, so as long as the signature matches the sender public key, it's fine. Then, I mean, so I want to say DKIM is not the complete solution as well. So, which leads us to DMARC. So, so basically, you need to set up an SPF record. You need to set up DKIM, but you need also DMARC. DMARC for me, it's a more of a complete solution, which includes SPF and DKIM together. So I'm pretty sure, like some of you received an email from someone claiming to be your bank or your CEO or someone. Anyone, like maybe your family urgently asking for a personal information. So this happens all the time. So DMARC, let's put it this way, it's not, sorry, I forgot that program name now. So it is, it's not a Jeremy Kyle show, but but it's kind of like a lie detector of inboxes that can tell which emails coming from registered domain and are authentic, and which are like fraud, which ones are fraud, regardless of the domain it came from, if it is active or not. So DMARC, what it does exactly. So we spoke about SPF in the beginning. So DMARC does an SPF check on the header from and envelope from domain names to ensure no funny business going on there. Next, it will check the DKIM signature by comparing the domain in the header from fields against the domain listed in the signature. So for an email to pass DMARC, it must pass both DKIM and SPF individually, and at least one of the two. Yeah, so must align. So basically, as I said before, so SPF, it aligns when the envelope from and an address from domain match. DKIM aligns when the domain listed in the signature and the from domain match. So basically, which form the DMARC. So here I have just a small picture, just explaining a flow, just explaining what DMARC does. So it's gonna go and check on the SPF, check on the DKIM, and then you're gonna have a hopefully safe email. So, and all here we're talking when we're talking about outbound, because I think is securing inbound and outbound are equally important. Okay, one of the other things we can configure is user submissions and anti-malware policies. So anti-malware policy, the default one it's great on Office 365. Basically, it will allow, protect your organization email from malware, including what actions to take and who to notify. So, I mean, for me, because we do live file security and stuff like that, so we receive malware over Office 365, but sometimes it's too much. It's just too much. So I'm not gonna monitor. I don't monitor myself. Like constantly monitor. Like I don't receive notifications. No, I monitor, but I don't receive notifications of, let's say, when a malware is detected, because it's too much. So I have I collect logs myself using other technologies, and if it is something like which needs to be triggered, get triggered. User submissions. This is very important. So you have a user which sent you a which received a spam or a phishing email, and they want to report it. So you want to allow them to report this. And with Outlook clients, and I insist it only works on Outlook clients and Outlook Online, it will there is a add-in for Outlook, which you can install through the admin center from Microsoft Office 365 admin center. It will allow the people to report messages, and you can, when you configure this, you can identify. There are a couple of email addresses where you can report phishing and stuff like that to Microsoft. You just add them there, and you can push it to all your users. And when you open your Outlook client, it will show as, let me show you my client. Where is it? Let me show you my email client, and I'll show you what I mean. 1 second, please. So I just have some confidential emails. So basically, it will look like here. So report message. I'm not gonna report this because I will stop receiving this stuff. So you can report it as junk, phishing, not junk, and you can play with the options here. So that's what I meant by user submission. Basically, now we're gonna start a email impersonation live demo. But before we do this, I'll just ask you if you have any questions. Okay, good. So basically what I'm gonna do, so I'm gonna pretend to be myself. So I'm gonna use our company email address, which is Glassful Solutions. I'm gonna try to send myself an email from my Gmail account I created, and it has my name on it. And there is one additional thing which we added as an extra security layer to let people know that this email is not legitimate, or it might not be legitimate. So I'm going to show it to you when well, I'm just going to show it to you now in a second, and I'll tell you what I mean by the extra security layer. So basically, this is my Gmail account. Great Gmail. Okay, so basically, I'm just gonna compare, and so, my name is Abbas Haidar. So you see, that's the email account. I'm gonna try to send an email myself to my Glassful account.
Are you sharing something?
I am sharing my my browser. Can you see it?
We can see email impersonation live demos there, right?
Oh, okay. No, that's not what I want to share. So sorry, give me a second. Let me share the whole screen then. 1 sec, please.
Okay.
Thank you. Share screen. Where does it? Screen 2. Screen 1. Can you see it now?
Okay, yes.
Brilliant. So this is my Gmail account then, and I'm sorry, I thought it was sharing the whole screen. But anyway, so this is my Gmail account, and as you see here, it has my name and my beautiful picture, and I'm gonna send an email here to my, this email is sent, this is my address, my email address, company email address. Subject will be emergency payment. And I'm gonna say, hi, Abbas. Okay, so can you please send me your credit card details? Please send me your company's details. We need to make a quick payment. Well, I mean, these people are like, some of them are not really smart on the how they do their messages. Like maybe this message which I've created now is not very attractive, but you know, you have some people who are really good at this, and they can with the language in the mail, so they can trick you. So I'm just gonna send this to myself and let's see what happens. Send. I'm gonna check my Outlook client. So my Outlook client, so basically I am off. I'm supposed to be off today. So I'm off today, off work. That's why you have my automatic replies on, and I'm still waiting for that message to be received, which I hope will be there in a minute. Here we go. So this is a message from Abbas Haidar. So when you receive such a message, it means like, you know, I mean, it's Abbas. Most people will read it as Abbas. Oh my God. Okay. So he wants a credit card. Yeah, let me send it to him. And believe me, a lot of people like fall for this. What we did to avoid such a thing. So first of all, if you see the impersonation, on the anti-phishing policy, I've set up to detect impersonation, give me tips. So the tip here is saying, this email address appears similar to someone who previously sent you email, but may not be that person. So this is the first thing. And what we added on our transport rule, on our exchange, which a lot of people like start doing, and I found it really, really useful. What we what we told, let's say, our employees. First of all, no one is going to ask you for credit card details. We know this, but sometimes people fall to it. But I'm gonna say, if there is any business communication, we will only use our corporate email account. We are not gonna use Gmail or Hotmail or whatever, unless, let's say, someone call you and say, your colleague call you and say, I'm gonna send you this from my Gmail account now. Otherwise, you can drop it. So what we added on our transport rules, on our exchange transport rules, is to add a additional thing here in yellow, so people banner, so people can see it. It says external email. This message has been received from outside of Glassful Solutions. Please refer to IT help desk if you have any concerns. So basically, so when I saw this, because I can spoof this, say it will show up as Abbas, so it would show up like this. So basically, when I first thing I had to my external, to my end user, to my client user, saying, listen, this might be wrong, but this is in gray, you know, it might not, people might not see it. Then we put this in yellow here and to say this is an external email, which means to other people in the company, like, you know, we have an agreement. Everyone knows that we will not get, no one, you know, no other company individual gonna send an email to me as an employee of Glassful from their personal email message. So this might be wrong. Then what we did as well, so as I showed you before, the add-in for user submission, which has been configured as well on the Microsoft Protection Center. I'm gonna report this message as phishing. And look what's gonna do here, report message is working on a phishing request. Look what my Office 365 is gonna do. So report, and should delete the message. Here we go. So that's the way it works. So, and that's what I want. Sorry? Hello?
No, sorry.
Could you see, can you see my Outlook?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so basically that's what I wanted to show you today. I just want to say one more thing, that that whatever you put in terms of anti-phishing and all of these stuff, there are always like hackers which are trying to do this and try to break all the security rules. One of the other things I forgot to show you. So basically, if I go to my anti-phishing policy here on my Security and Compliance Center, and I want to say on the Security and Compliance Center here of Office 365, That's all the policies which we have configured. You might not see all of this in your dashboard. It depends on what subscriptions do you have, but it is, to be honest, it's a great tool. It's a really, really good tool to detect a lot of stuff and help you on a lot of stuff. The whole, and this is only the threat management tab. If I go here, it can do a lot of things, and it is seriously good. You can add more stuff in here. You can do search, investigation, information governance, and one of the cool things which is in the information governance there. So if you are doing ISO 27001, it's going to go through your security score and tell you where you are, how far you are, SOC 2 and SOC. It's going to help you on all of this, which is really amazing. But I want to show you something here. So if I go into threat management, and we're going to go to the anti-phishing policy. And so you see here, I specified how many users and where the tips one. So safety tips is enabled here. I wanted to show something else, but I can't remember it. But basically, it is a great tool if you wanna use this. And I just want to show you as well. So look what happened on my service desk when someone opened the ticket, like, submitted a yeah, here we go. So what it did, so it opened it take it automatically into our account, and basically it's not my email, to be honest. This is another one. So here we go. That's the one. Apologies. Yeah, so that's the email I've sent today at 14:35, so a couple of minutes ago. And look, it has the header here, and it has the email attached as well. So that's how we configured it. And this will get to the IT team who are going to go and investigate all of this. And one of the other cool things, and I'm going to stop after that, and just to see if you have any questions, is the playbooks. So if I go to here, so you have playbooks for GDPR stuff, for information governance, and for threat management. So basically they are pre-set up, and you just configure them. And if you have any, and it, that will be triggered, if you have, dependent on the configuration you put in, which is really, really, really good. So, and this is the service assurance. What it will help you on being compliant with regulatory standards like SOC and ISO. That's it from me for tonight, and I just want to ask if you have any questions.
Hi, I have one question. I don't know if
Please.
you guys can hear me. Hi, my name is Jose Roman.
Hi.
Do you have any experience with how well Office 365 would work when you have another email gateway in place, such as Proofpoint?
Sorry, your mic was making noise. Can you just ask the question again?
Sure. Can you hear me well now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Do you have any experience or insight as to how well Office 365 works when you use another email gateway such as Proofpoint?
Yeah, I can. Yeah. So in this scenario here, in our case, so we have the emails are coming to our Office 365 environment, then they go to our email gateway, then they come back. So and it is working really well for us. I never had problems. The only thing was just to set up a couple of connectors and stuff like that to just a couple of connectors to yeah, so a couple of connectors just to make sure that, when the flow comes back, it's not detected as spam and stuff like that. But yeah, do you have any specific question on this?
No, nothing specific. I just didn't know how well, Office 365 would work with.
It works perfectly well.
Okay.
And I'll tell you from the experience, and I have Tom is still on the. Tom is not on the call anymore. So Tom is our lead engineer at Glassful. And he worked like with Gmail as well. We do stuff with Gmail and other stuff. Basically, Office 365 is the easiest to configure and with least problems, to be honest.
Got it. Thank you.
And I'm not trying to sell Microsoft. I'm just telling you that it is good. It is good.
No worries. Thank you.
No worries. Any other questions? Okay, brilliant. I mean, thanks for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the session. I hope you found it beneficial, and I would welcome any feedback. Maybe in the future we can go into more details, like on checking. Maybe we can do another session where we can go and check on your security score on the because you can do this on the security and compliance center. You can like put security score, have you configured this, have you configured that, and it will help you see this. It will help you to set up your environment in a very good way. But this can come in the future. Thanks for listening, and please, any feedback is very, very appreciated.
Yes, thank you so much, Abbas. That was a great session. I've learned lots today. Those are things that we don't learn every day, but then it's very important. So anybody here who has a question, you can just send it through chat if you want to. If you're shy, just send it through chat. Okay?
Or you can send it to me via email if you have any questions on setups or security in Office 365.
Yes.
You can email me.
All right.
I'm gonna leave my email in the chat.
Okay, so for anyone who is not in our Open Security Summit Slack, you can check on the chat screen, and you can click on that invite and be a part of OSS Slack channel. Okay? All right. So thank you very much. Have a great night, everyone. Thank you for joining this session.
Thank you.
Let's look forward in the next session of Abbas.
Thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Cheers. Bye.